Still no sound? I see the meter moving now. I'm sorry, I didn't even notice it. I don't know what I did. I caught myself checking all the settings before I, pressed the live button like a few minutes ago. I don't know what I did. But anyway, welcome to What the Fuck Tuesday. As I was saying before, I was so rudely silenced by my equipment. This is the last Tuesday for February 2021. By all reports, it's just been the absolute best so far. I don't know how I'm going to top it for next year, but I'll think of something. In the meantime, we are just a little over 100 shy of our $25,000, 25,000 rather, subscriber base. So if you have anybody that you think might want to be a subscriber to this channel, can you please hit them up? That we have until Sunday to make that goal. That would be great. That would be like my present for all this work I put in to do February. That would be fabulous. So if even half you guys got one person to subscribe, it would be fabulous, and we would way meet the goal. But welcome to the show. This is a live stream advice show where the questions are sent in advance. I then read them and answer them just off the cuff. If you happen to notice, if you sent in a question rather, and you happen to notice that your question was answered tonight, be sure to check the chat stream as well, because a lot of times they have comments or resources that exist in the general vicinity where you are, because they live there. I don't, and so it's always good to listen to what I have to say as well as take a look at the chat to see what the viewers have to say too. Oh yes. Yeah, I'm to 25,000. It's like, man, but I know people that have 6 times that many and they don't talk about anything at all as deep and as well researched and as important for your growth and development as we do on this channel. So it's kind of interesting, but people can only come and do, this kind of stuff work when they are ready to do it. I've seen some of you kind of, you know, kind of be a little bit in your feelings at some of the guests that we've had and the stuff that they said. But I still applaud you for being brave enough to listen and, write it down in your notebooks and maybe do a little homework. Thanks, Nick. So let's get started here. We got 24 questions. I like this. She's been putting this cover page on, right? So it tells me right in the front how many questions it is and if there's anything I need to be aware of, like, a trigger question or something like that. So this, I'm like, go see, done came up with something. So anyway, let's get started because we got 24 questions to go, and this is a lot. So question number one. This is from a female in the 30 to 39 age group from Vancouver, Washington. Deb, she says with a whole bunch of exclamation marks. My friend confessed to me that her boyfriend is verbally and emotionally abusive. They've been together for 4 years. We're all in our early 30s. They broken up before, always got back together. Last week they broke up, and that's when she told me about the abuse. I was disgusted when she went into details. I was so furious and sad that she had put up with it. I obviously care for my friend, and I wish her only the best. Lo and behold, she tells me they got back together. I don't even know how to react. I understand the abuse cycle and how hard it is to get out. However, she doesn't financially depend on him, and she has both friends and family that she can rely on. Why do women put themselves in this type of situation? I don't want to have a conversation with her where she becomes defensive. She has a tendency to do that. I have recommended that she get therapy for her self esteem and jealousy issues, and also therapy for them as a couple. She thinks therapy is a joke. I told her when I went, it was the best thing that happened to me. She still isn't open to it. I just know she's not happy, and in her mind, this is the only solution. She thinks trying to find a new partner at 31 is too hard and would rather just stay with him. Anyway, if your advice is to just keep my mouth shut, then please tell me that too. I just feel like I need to at least acknowledge everything she admitted to me last week in case she still thinks about getting out. I have so many things to say, but let me start at the end. In case she still thinks about getting out, that's not your problem. Okay, this is where I mean, it's great that she's your friend and you listened and you felt disgusted and you felt okay, but she told you all of that stuff, and then she went right back to that fool for another round. So, at a situation like that, you don't care. You don't. You have to separate yourself from your friend. And it's like if she wants to go back there and get verbally and emotionally abused, that's her red wagon. The fact that she had enough courage, when she broke up, that was her chance to stay out of it and be, an escape. At least it's not like he's not like pummeling on her, but sometimes that starts to happen too. But 4 years and unless she's left some out, he's sticking to things that he can't really get arrested for. That's how they decide what kind of abuse they're gonna do. Um, this is a situation, it's just like we heard last night, right? What did Jamie say? You have to decide which thing is going to make you, the happiest. Is she going to feel better and happier staying in a relationship with the devil she knows and getting talked to like she has a tail and barks? Or is it going to be, will she be happier if she leaves and has to start over and give some other guy a chance and herself as well? Which is going to make you less unhappy? That's the one that she thinks that she's choosing. So, I mean, that's her choice. She's an adult. You in your 30s. So that's the choice that she's making. Now, what you have the right to do, though, and I've had to do this to some of my friends that be in, these kind of whack situations. You listen a time or two, as a friend, you're going to listen. But see, if they come to you with a problem and then they ask you for a solution and you give them to them and then they don't do it, and then they want to come back and whine to you some more. See, that's where my boundaries go up. And I put the brakes on that. And I'd be like, look, you whined to me. I felt really bad. That was very upsetting for me to hear that you subject yourself to that kind of abuse. But the fact that you did it and you were broken up, that meant that was your path out. If you really were that bothered by it, like you claimed that you were when you was telling me. So I'm going to say this. Since you decided that that's what you like, when we talk, don't you bring that MF's name up to me. I don't care about what he says to you. I don't want to hear about how your feelings is hurt by what he told you or how he treated you. I don't want to hear no parts of it because you had a choice and you think you're gonna be bugging my nerves with this nonsense over and over and over and over, getting me upset because I care about you. So of course I'm gonna be upset hearing about it. But that's why we're gonna draw the line here. Don't you say shit to me about that fool, about your relationship, about nothing that goes on between the two of you. I don't even want to know what you had for breakfast. Don't tell me nothing. And if that's gonna be too hard for you, then we can is end this friendship right here. Because one thing Deb is gonna do is always choose herself. And it means if my nerves are gonna be bothered by some shit you talking, guess what? I'm not gonna be around to listen to you talk that shit. And that's just the way it is. So that's your right to say that to your friend. And if I were you, that's exactly what I would be telling her. Because 4 years of this bullshit, and she still gonna keep going back like a stupid fool. That I mean, I don't know what to tell you. That your friend is stupid, and so you just have to put up your boundaries where you don't be stupid with her. Okay. Let's move on. Question number 2. This is from a young man in the 30 to 39 age group out the UK. I have a feeling I shouldn't have married my wife. What an intro. We have a little baby and we're expecting a second baby. A year ago, when the first lockdown in my country was imposed, we separated for a month. However, I couldn't handle not being around my son, so I moved back and tried to make up. I'm a teacher and I've been teaching online for the most of the past year. I help a lot with chores around the house. I'm taking our son out every day. My wife can't drive, so I do all the shopping, post office runs, etc. I really do think I do the best I can to help her concentrate only on the newborn to be. Despite that, there is a new argument almost every single night. She keeps on telling me that I don't help enough, that I don't have to work that much, and I prefer work to family. I work 30 hours a week. Fridays are completely free for me. There seems to be a new problem every single day. Hmm. I know that I overreact from time to time, especially when I'm proud at the end of the day. I wake up with my son, letting her sleep until 8:30. I feed him, I bathe him in the evenings. I go to the playground every day. If there's a day when I'm not home for most of the day, it's always a huge problem. Now, don't get me wrong, I can't imagine how difficult it is to be pregnant and have a 2-year-old as well. But I don't know how to help more. We fail in communication badly. When she runs out of arguments, she targets my parents and tells me that they don't help enough either. Okay, she's tripping now. Will it get better after delivery of the second baby? I hate to say it, but if it wasn't for the kids, who I love more than anything, we would split up. Dude, you weak and spineless, and plus you don't know what you're doing. Number one, your attitude is fucked up. Okay, Anytime a man says anything about his household and he says, I help, that mentality means that you don't see it as your responsibility. You see it as a chore that you're doing to help mommy. Okay, see, and that attitude there, that's what she means. You don't do more to help because you see it as you helping instead of you being the man of the house, the producer of two babies, and a wife who is somewhat disabled because she's pregnant. Okay, because when it's a whole bunch you just can't physically do. And, you can't fit through. It's, yeah, I didn't really like it that much. But, a lot of people like being pregnant, but it makes you feel so vulnerable. And then depending if you how sick you feel, some people get them hormone shifts. They start going, towards postpartum depression while they still pregnant. A lot of things happen. But it sounds like she's resentful because you're talking about what you do, and just let her sleep, and you bathe them in the evenings, and you feed them. Okay, well, who's doing the cooking? Who's cleaning up the dishes? Who's mopping the kitchen floor? Who cleans out the bathtub after you bathe them? Who keeps the bathroom and the shower, the shower and around the toilet where you males piss everywhere? Who keeps that clean and from stenching like a gas station bat restroom? Who vacuums? Who changes the sheets on the bed? Who makes sure that there's diapers and wipes and stuff for both kids? Who vacuums and washes windows and polishes furniture, dusts? Who does all of that? Okay, who pays the bills? There's a lot more to running a house, making sure there's enough toilet tissue and stuff like that. I mean, like if you say you go shopping, does she have to give you a list, or do you have enough gumption to go around the house and figure out by looking at the cabinets and the refrigerator and the freezer what you guys need for your family? See, this is the kind of shit where men, well, I'm going to get to all of that, but this is the first part. Why I want him to understand why she's saying you don't help enough. Because all the things I mentioned, and that's just part of it, are things that, laundry. You didn't mention any laundry either. So, there's a lot of chores here that you have to do for a family. So you're doing this little stuff. You're doing what you want to do, but you're not doing what you need to do. Okay? So you heard the list I just made? You consider everything that I said and the time it takes to do all those things. Lugging them heavy clothes and pulling shit off the beds and all that kind of stuff. That stuff is hard and it's very difficult for a pregnant woman to do because she risks that downward pressure. That's not good. So you need to be doing all them bed sheet changes and all that kind of stuff. All right. Now I'm listening to you talk and you guys fight and stuff, and I'm trying to figure out how much time do you spend with your wife? A lot of women don't feel very attractive when they're pregnant. They don't mean don't you don't feel good, and you don't fit nothing, and all the maternity clothes are a joke and look like tents. I mean, it's not the best time, for you to feel like womanly and attractive and sexy and all that kind of stuff. You don't feel any of those things. So this is when it's time for you to step up. So this is when you decide that you're going to get a sitter or for your 2-year old, and you're going to tell your wife to dress up, and you're going to come and you're going to take her out on a date. They have these restaurants where you can dress up and you go to the right part of the day. You can sit outside. It's very pretty. It's warm. Like it's 70 something degrees here right now, 76 or something. And so it's like, there's plenty of opportunities for that kind of thing. You could do it at lunchtime. You could do it in the early afternoon. I mean, before it's dark and it starts getting cold. You could do a beach trip. You could do, I don't know, go to a mountain place or something and sit there and eat your stuff and look at nature. I mean, I don't know where do you live? I can't even remember where the dude lives at. Oh, somewhere in the UK. He didn't say exactly. But, there's options there. All right. And so I hope that this kind of gives you some insight into what she's really telling you and the realities of what the work is and time involved in running a household, especially with two small children, which is what you two are gonna have. Dude, you're gonna have to step it up. If you can't step it up, then you're gonna have to figure out how to hire somebody to help your wife around the house, like they had those little mother's helper type people or something. You're gonna have to do something. Yeah, he needs to really understand. Oh, he's still on lockdown. Well, he said in his, I don't know which country is the whole continent. But he said in his country, so I don't know. He didn't say where his country is. He just said, "quote UK." Yeah, I mean something. He needs to plan something to give, so she can just be with him and he can like, cuddle coo and goo with her and all of those stuff. That's what she wants. She just feels like a mother baby hatching blimp. That's what she feels like. Hopefully he'll recognize what we're talking about and get his act together. Question 3, female 21 to 26. It says no location provided. Hey Deb, I need advice about moving out of my own. I have been saving for my own apartment. I plan to move by next January, hopefully. So dang, that's like a year away. My mom and I live with a family member right now. However, when I told my mom that I was planning to live on my own, she responded, "And you're just gonna leave me?" I've been telling her for the past 5 years to be saving up some of her money every month and to be looking for affordable apartments, but she won't listen and keeps loaning all her money away. Now she's making me feel very guilty for wanting to live alone. I'm going on 24 and I've never had my own space, not even my own room. Never, Deb, because I always had to give up my room when family members came to live with us. For once, I just want my own space. She has also started joking that soon I'm going to have to be her caretaker and wipe her butt, which makes me uncomfortable because I have been begging her for years to lose weight and change her eating habits. I recently made her start taking daily vitamins and I'm constantly begging her to take her health and diet more seriously, and she just says I'm going to have to take care of her. So what do I do? Am I being selfish or dramatic? I really want my own life outside of my family. No, this is when it's going to be time for you to find your ovaries, and you about to use all your estrogen and some testosterone that you also have in your body, and you about to sit your mama down and give her the ride act. Now, this is probably going to take some practice for you because it doesn't sound like you are used to standing up to your mother. You say you tell her stuff, but you about to tell her something in a different way now. And you can write it and you can give it to her in writing if you want to after you say it. But, I don't know how your mother retains information best. So if it would be best for her to have it in writing that she could look at it over and over and over, that would be good. If she's going to remember best because you said it and she'll, see your face on stuff, whatever. That's why I recommend doing both. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to tell your mom, "Mom, next January, I'm going to move out. You will be on your own. I will be 25 years old. I want to have a family. I want to have a husband. And I want to have a house where me and my husband could walk around naked if we want to. And that means I'm not going to be living with you. Okay? I want you to understand what time it is. I want to have a life like a normal woman has. You did it. I want my turn." Okay, then she's going to be looking at you crazy because you're going to be talking to her in a way that she's not used to talking. And then you're going to say this. And I want you to understand two more things. Number one, no matter what happens, you're not coming to live with me. So I want to make it very clear. You're going to figure it out. You got a year to get it together. Okay? You're not coming to live with me. You're not even coming to my house for an overnight visit. You're not coming to my house for a weekend. And if you get kicked out of your place for giving all your money away to other people, you're going to have to go to a homeless shelter or one of your other relatives' house because you're not coming to mine. Now, you might say that's cold. I can't do that to mama. I'm telling you, you better say it because otherwise she's not going to plank any plan. She's just going to be thinking about, well, I can always go stay with you. That's what she's going to be thinking because you thinking that you're going to move on from this relative and that she's not going to try to follow you. You better listen to what I'm saying. You got to put your checkmate in first. Then you're going to tell her, and as far as you thinking that I'm going to give up my life to be your caretaker after you screwed your body up doing stuff and treating it like shit, I'm telling you another thing right now. You're going to be in a nursing home. I'm not going to do that. I'll come and visit you every Sunday or, whenever I can fit it in, but I'm not going to give up my life for you, Mom. That's not going to happen. So all these plans you're making to control me and tell me what to do and make my life miserable, all of those plans are about to go up in smoke because I'm going to be out of here by January. Might be sooner, but it will definitely be by January. So all that money you've been loaning people, you need to get it back so you can have it in case you have to move out. And then you give it. Here's everything we just talked about in written form. So, in case you forget what I said, and then you get up and you walk out. Her mom don't need a therapist. Her mom is just very manipulative and controlling. And she, is one of them kind of people that feels like she can do what the fuck she want to do all her life and have fun and tear everything up and then she gonna have some fallback situation. For some women, it's their husband, and for some women, it's their children, and it's usually the daughters because the sons be screw you, or the women be taking care of the sons. It's always the daughter that ends up, in a situation like that. So yeah, this is not not a therapy thing. This is something she's doing intentionally. So when people aren't aware of what they're doing, you would think they're having some cognitive difficulties or some weird emotion. They might need a therapist for at least a couple of visits to get them back on track. This is with forethought. Everything she's saying is with a plan, right? Oh, you're gonna be, changing my diapers and what did she say? And uh, you're gonna be my caretaker. You're gonna have to be my. So see, this is a plan. This is not, somebody who's delusional and doesn't know what they're doing and stuff. This is a plan, and she's made this very clearly in response to her daughter trying to get her to eat better, so that this wouldn't be her problem. You see what I'm saying? So this is not. No, mom did plan. Mom planned to live off of this daughter. See, y'all not getting it. Y'all not getting it. Everybody keep making excuse for her. Well, she needs therapy. No, she didn't make a plan. No, she did make a plan. She had a very tight plan. Her plan is her daughter's pocket, her daughter's house, her daughter's life. That's what her plan is. Yeah, this is a very manipulative, controlling individual. So you're gonna have to be very, very strong. You better channel your inner Deb, because this is some shit you better put your foot down and don't give in. Do not back down. I don't care if you have to leave the state and go to the other side of the country to get away from her. That's what you do. You can keep in touch with her ass by Zoom. Question number 4, female, 22 to 29, Indianapolis. Would you allow your partner to take a 2-week break from you in the relationship with no communication between you two? I feel slighted, sad, angry, and hurt that he told me he wanted a break because he has a lot going on in his life. Well, I do too, and I should be included. I'm not running away because my life is chaotic and messy. I feel like he shouldn't either. Am I overreacting? Should I break up with him? You already broke up with girlfriend. You tripping. You in Indianapolis in 22 to 29. Okay, well, somebody want to take a 2-week break and you in the 22-year-old category. I mean, what did you think that meant? He just put a 2 weeks on it so that he could go back after if this other thing he want to investigate don't really work out too good. He still has you on the hook. But you're supposed to be smart enough to understand that game and not play it. So when a man tells you he wants a break, you say, okay, don't come back. And then that's it. It's over. And even though you say, well, he might turn around and say, well, he might not have a second life, but he trying to get him somebody new. That's what he trying to do. And he don't want her interfering with it. So, because it's so specific, a 2-week break. There's another woman. Now, whether it's another woman he already knows, a woman he met recently and she's flying out to, spend time with him, somebody that he was already involved with who was in another state or country, whatever, now is back for 2 weeks to visit family in the area. I don't know, but the time frame, the specific time frame is what's, making me think it's something like that. It's some situation where he doesn't want her interrupting whatever he's going to be doing. So that's why I'm thinking it's somebody that's from not from the area. And so he's, they're going to only be there for 2 weeks. And so that's the 2 weeks he needs to be, away from this chick and over here with this other one. That's what I'm thinking. So, what I would just tell you is to understand that even if you think, well, after 2 weeks we're going to get back together, what kind of woman lets a man just sit her on the shelf for 2 weeks and then come back and pick her up like nothing ever happened? Who does that? Please don't tell me that you would do that. That would be very silly. That would be majorly disrespecting yourself, majorly discounting yourself, and putting yourself in the trash pile. That's not how you do. So anytime a man says he wants to have a break, you give him one and make sure it's permanent. Okay, just like the San Andreas fault, it ain't going nowhere. That earth is broken. Okay. Well, yeah, she need to learn how to ghost. She need to learn how to ghost. But I don't know, she doesn't say how long they've been together. She just said would I allow a 2 week break. So, depending upon the length of time that they've been together, a break, ghosting might be totally inappropriate. Let's move on. Question number 5, female 22 to 29 from Vancouver. So there's this guy I've been talking to for a few months. We met once. He said we both said we had a great time and wanted to do it again. He disappeared for a week. Then we chatted a bit. The following week, it kind of blew up when I confronted him about disappearing. I did bug him a bit. He finally said he had been super busy at work and just hadn't got back to me yet. That is just how he is. He was kind of mad. I waited a day. Okay. This girl. Then texted him and basically asked him what he wanted to do. I asked if we should go our separate ways and cut ties. When he didn't answer, because you know what he was doing? This is him and this is his phone. Okay. And he's hearing all you saying all this stuff. And he's looking at the phone like, okay, that's what's going on. Because you sound like a nut. Let me finish reading this. Okay. When he didn't answer, I told him, bye. I guess we are going our separate ways. Then I wished him luck. He answered later and apologized. Apologized for not answering my messages. And then he explained that with all the snow, he had been super busy at work and it's a mess. He's pipelined. And he said we could go our separate ways. I asked him if that's what he wants. We could talk about things if he was still interested, or we could cut ties. It's completely up to him. I don't want us to end up hating each other. We are both adults. I would respect his choice and go with whatever. He doesn't have to worry about hurting my feelings. Then I asked him what he wanted to do, and he responded with, well, what do we do? What does this mean? It means, okay, it means you stupid as hell, desperate and thirsty as fuck. That's what that means. You went on one date with a man and you flipped it out like this? That I'm telling you, dude knows you ain't wrapped too tight, but what he senses is a sense of desperation. So this means there's booty opportunities. That's what that means, and that's why he's like, well, what do you want to do? Because he want to see if you're going to be stupid enough to invite him over, so he could tap that ass. That's what he's trying to do. He ain't trying to, be with your crazy wackadoodle ass. Girl, you doing the most. I just never heard any mess like this. If I was a dude, I would block you from my phone. Cause you that kind of be like, dude to live on this 12th story. Yo ass to scale the building, be peeping through the window to see what bitches in his house, hanging onto the windowsill and stuff like your ass is Spider-Man. I just like, I can't with these girls. I knew a girl who did. She did a running leap off the hood of her car and swinged onto the dude's balcony and, and did a flip over. And she was a big girl. She was not like that, but she was so full of adrenaline. And this is a true story. And this all of a sudden came to my mind. And swung up on dude's balcony and broke the door and broke into his house. I'm like, dude, I don't know what kind of dangalang you putting down, but stay far, far away from me, because that's some. She just went full on cray cray about him. This is a total sidetrack off of what I'm supposed to be talking about. Okay, but anyway, yes, but you remind me of her. That's the long, the long and the short of all of this. You remind me of her. You doing too much, and what it means is, like I said, he just wants to see if there's going to be any booty opportunities there, and you know, if there is, then he'll hang around enough to keep you on the hook to give it up. But other than that, he's not interested in you, especially now. I'm trying to tell you. Uh, he not gonna let her go. He gonna tap that ass first, cause that's how dudes do. They don't understand crazy women until they start getting stabbed. Question number 6, female 22 to 29 from Orlando. On January 22nd, my boyfriend told me that he wanted us to take a break because my depression had been getting really bad and both of us didn't know what to do to help, and he didn't want to watch me keep going through it. We have not spoken since. Okay, so that's been about a month. I noticed that he recently took all of our pictures off of his Instagram except for two of them. I have already been working on myself and my mental health, and I'm already the happiest I've been in a long time. And I noticed and identified what I need to change and work on for the future. He told me before he ended the call that he would consider getting back together with me if or when I eventually got better, but he gave no time limit for our break and said that he can't speak for the future. He also told me, I know this sounds like a breakup to you, but it's not. It's a break. We've been dating for a year and 2 months, and the way he has handled this is not how he would usually would, and it all seems odd to me. I know about the no contract rule. However, his birthday is coming up on March 5th, and I had made a painting for him before all this happened that I told him I would give him on his birthday. I've been planning on mailing the painting to him with a note wishing him happy birthday and saying I hope he's well. Should I not send it to him? I don't want to be mean and not say anything on his birthday. I was hoping maybe he knows about the painting, would strike some chord, and maybe we'll get to communicate so I can tell him how good I've been doing. The no contact rule says that it has to be at least 3 weeks, and it's been 4 weeks since we've spoken. So, my two questions to you are number one, do I mail him the painting? And number two, what does it mean by him just recently deleting all of our photos from his Instagram except for two? Okay, so then she writes some more stuff and she says, sorry, this is a lot of information. Yes, it is. It's way more than I need. And I start getting bored because it takes too long to read it. I still feel myself aging. Anyway, your two questions are, do you mail him the painting? No, you do not. What does it mean by him just recently deleting all of our photos from his Instagram except two? Why are you stalking his Instagram? Leave that man alone. You know, no contact means that you also don't spy on them on the web. So you talking about it's been 4 weeks, it hasn't even been a day because you quote just recently found that out. So your 3 week clock hasn't even started yet. If you doing all of that, right? Because that's still contact. So no, that you know. And you think that I already know what this game. You want to send him this thing, so and you admit that you're hoping maybe he knows that it will strike a chord and we get to communicate and all this stuff. So see, you want me to give you permission to mail him this picture with all these expectations and strings tied to it, and then you're gonna be pissed off and feel all double rejected, worse than you do now, and go back into your funk of depression and everything else when he doesn't respond because he might throw it in the trash. You know, you are really taking a big risk here reaching out to somebody that dumped you. That's not how you handle yourself. You just setting yourself up to get just kicked in the stomach. Why would you do that? And a man telling you, well, this is not a breakup, this is a break. That is the biggest lie. Just like the check is in the mail, I'll pull out in time. All those are big lies that people tell like every day. Every day. They tell those lies. So you trying to believe this, uh, trying to no. Anyway, no. Just leave this alone. Leave him alone. Block. Stop looking at his stuff. Block him on your phone and stuff so he can't call you, can't text you, you can't call him, text him, all of that kind of stuff. Do that, and then your clock will start alone all over. Yeah, I'm just like, you stalking people's Instagram, yo, you haven't done the no contact rule yet. It has not even started. But them tricks, because I'm just telling you, if I were a dude and I was done with a girl and she tried to send me a birthday present, I would do one of a couple of things, depending on how mad I was. If I was just through with her and nothing really bad happened, but I didn't want to be bothered with her, I would see her return address on there and I would write return to sender. I wouldn't open it, I would put it back in the mail. Okay, now if she was funky and some real funky stuff went down, I would take that picture, I would open that box up, I would cut that shit into tiny ribbons, if not take it to somewhere and put it through a paper shredder and put it right back in the box and put a new label address on it and then send it back to her. That's what I would do because I would just really want to fuck her up. But that's how, it's so it would be one of those. One thing that I would wish somebody would just leave me alone. If I broke up with you, don't try to reach out to me. Don't try to send me a gift. Don't try to do nothing like that because I'm going to hurt your feelings and I'm going to hurt them bad, really bad. Cause I'm just saying, but see, that's how I do when I want to get you a message. Cause it's like you're not hearing me, you're not understanding what I'm saying to you. I need to use a different language. So obviously, speaking English, even with a little touch of ghettoese, that still ain't working for you. So let me cut your shit up and send it back to you, so you can see with your eyeballs that I don't want no parts of you. To the point where I'm gonna sit there with my scissors and while I watch TV or something. It's not foul. That's just how you do. Don't bother me. Just forget you know me. That would be your best bet. While we broke up. Just move it. Keep it moving, Mister. Anyway, let's move on. Enough about me and my evil ways. Question number 7, female 4049 from Boston. So I'm trying to figure something out. I'm a 44-year-old woman. And I'm trying to find somebody. I'm interested in men. And I'm on a dating app, and I haven't had a lot of luck, but I finally did meet someone who actually seemed like someone I could see myself dating. We had a lot in common. There seemed to be a mutual attraction. We had our first date on a Monday. He texted me on his way home and said he really liked me, and then briefly texted on Tuesday. Then I didn't hear from him again. I figured he was either busy or had changed his mind or whatever. So on Sunday night, I was watching Netflix on my couch. Shameless plug. And he texted me and asked what I was doing. I told him, and the next text was something along the lines of, quote, I'm really in need of some loving. Can I come over? I firmly told him no, and that I deserved to be treated better and that I was more than a piece of meat. So here's where I need advice. I mentioned what happened to a friend, and they seemed to suggest that I overreacted and that it was just loving and that could have gotten something out of it too. Am I crazy? Should I have not stuck up for myself and, quote, just gone with the flow and not been so serious about it? Am I a prude? Is my friend way off base? I'm so confused. Any insight would be appreciated. Okay, you 44. You must have been in a relationship since you was 4 to think that what your friend is talking about makes any sense. Let me explain something to you since you knew at this. Okay, your friend said that you overreacted and it was just some loving. You need to go and pull up Ludacris on YouTube. And there's a song, it's my favorite song that he makes, called Use a Hoe. And then when your friend is on the phone, you say, Girl, I need you to hear something. And you press play and you let Ludacris tell her all about herself in your stead. And then when the song is over, you just press stop and say, Girl, you understand what you coming to? Because you meet the clown on the internet. You don't know nothing about this fool. And you just going to let him, come over to your house and you go traipsing off to his. And that's, that means that something's wrong with you. Use a hoe, use a hoe. I said that use a hoe. I can't come up with anything better than that. Okay, let's move on to her next question. You would have gotten something out of it too. That is so iffy. So iffy. Most men, I know you've been in a long term relationship, so you might not know this. The majority of men can't fuck. They cannot fuck. They can't last more than a minute or two, 3 at the tops. They be struggling to do that. Okay. They have ED. They have all kind of stuff going on. And the bottom line is they can't fuck. So your friend saying that you would have got something out of it too. You know what you got? Some dirty sheets and a bad attitude from getting, you know, taunted. That's what that would have been. And he would have felt like he was absolutely came up because he came up at your house and messed up your sheets and probably drank up your water and ran up your lights and used your toilet paper and all kind of stuff. No, you can't do that at my house. Get out of here. Yeah. Okay. And then she says, you should have just gone with the flow and not so serious about it. Yeah, then what would you have been doing when you had cauliflowers growing all over your body from the genital warts that he gave you? See, your friend is stupid. And it's like, the dude, you have to have some kind of rapport with him so that you can get an idea what kind of lover he would be. One of these days, I have to tell you all about my game, how I figured that out. What kind of lover he's going to be. And then you got to check the equipment, okay? So you can't do all that from somebody that was texting with and all this. No, you didn't get enough time around him to see if that would even be a possibility. You got to see how they think, what kind of stuff, how they conduct themselves. It's a lot to it. But you have to we'll have to talk about that on one of the girls' night out things. That shit looked like cauliflower. I had a friend who used to do those sex education things, for the county, some Stanislaus or something up there, and he used to go around and he had these big old like 18 by 20 pictures magnified of that shit. I was like, I tell you, no. So, that's what you might get on the internet. You don't know these people. You don't know what they habits are. They could have just got out of jail yesterday. You just don't even know. So I don't want to be bothered. And I suggest that you ignore your friend and, like I said, tell her that her theme song is sung by Ludacris and for her to check that out. Question number 8, male, 22 to 29 from Auckland, New Zealand. My partner and I are due to be married next summer, and we had a huge argument over the weekend, and she took her ring off and said she doesn't want to marry me. We have a 6-month-old daughter. The problem is that my parents have said 2 or 3 comments over the last 12 months with no malicious intent, but have hurt her feelings. It was just small things like my mother saying, the baby has such cute, chubby cheeks. Looks at my partner. She has your cheeks. I did challenge my mother when she said this, as my mother for sure not intentionally calling anybody fat or any names, and she explained that she meant it just came out wrong. But my partner refused to believe that my parents adore her and now thinks that they have some kind of disliking to her when they really do not, and it's so frustrating to get this message across when she doesn't want to believe it. She took her ring off and said that she would never get on with my family, and all because of some misinterpretations. She has held a grudge for nearly a year now and just will not move on from it. We finished the argument last night, and she agreed she would marry me still, but just so I know she won't forgive and forget. Is she being immature about all this? Especially over a small comment which had no malicious intent. I am so scared right now that she'll walk out and leave me along with my child over something so little, especially when I have not personally done anything wrong. Please help me. Let her go. Let her bitch ass go. Now, you got parents to help you with that baby. Don't even trip. Let me tell you something about this girl. She don't want to marry you. She don't want to marry you, and she doesn't know how to do it, and so she's doing all this little. Her anxiety and fear is manifesting in these kind of things that put a big, separation between you. Secondly, she gonna hold a grudge a year to about somebody talking about her cheeks. Don't you know that people pay thousands of dollars to get cheek implants to look like they have fat cheeks? Does she understand that chubby cheeks are cute? That's what the woman said, that they're cute. That was a compliment. That was not an insult. So see, this is where you gonna have to man up. You gonna have to man the fuck up, and this is what you gonna have to do. You gonna have to sit that cow down and say, "Look, I'm tired of your shit. Okay, you already know my mother didn't mean anything. She used the word cute. How is cute something that's attacking you? Dumb B. Okay, so this is what we gonna do. You gonna act right and give me that ring back. This is going to be a test. If you act right for 1 year, then I'll get married to you. You do one thing that's stupid, you say one thing that's fucked up to my parents, you have any kind of attitude, or you do anything that sounds like you trying to act, stupid and trying to run something, we're through. And there will be no second chances. We can go to court and get child support and visitation because I'm having custody and you gonna pay child support. That's how we gonna do this. And then that's what you do. You don't take this kind of stuff. And you think at your age, you so young and you have a little baby and you sound like a really nice, nice guy whose heart's in the right place. You want to do the right thing. I applaud you for that. But what I'm telling you is there comes a time when you got to put Mr. Nice Guy, sit him down. I'm not saying you're going to be like a total savage to this girl or to you. That's not really necessary. This is the mother of of your child. But what you are going to do is be very firm with her. No nonsense at all. You're not going to smile. You're not going to beg. You're going to stand there and give her the death stare so that she understands how serious you are. and you say, this is it. So you're going to have you, I'm going to give you 24 hours to make a decision. You can do it right now, either one. Either you're going to sign on, you're going to act right. We're not going to ever have this kind of conversation again, or you're going to get your shit and get the fuck out. Which one do you want? And you ain't taking my kid. So that's you make that decision. And then that would be that. You know? That would just be that. So I don't know what to say. This is interesting. But that's what I would do. She wouldn't be taking my baby, and I would get my ring back, and then let her test herself and see. Now move on to question number 9. This is from a young woman in the 18 to 21 age group from Toronto. I just turned 18 and I've been dating my best friend for about a year now. I had strong feelings for him in the beginning, but they have been fading. I still love him, but I'm starting to see him as more of a friend. The problem is, I feel like he expects too much for us, being so young. He already talks about getting married and having kids. It used to excite me, but now it makes me panic thinking about it. Plus, he is so insecure. He never wants me to do things that I like because he doesn't like it. I said I wanted to get a small tattoo on my side or bum, and he said he needs to be there for it. Doesn't like when I hang out in my family friend's car, who is a boy, or my cousin's car. He doesn't like when I get checked out by male doctors. He even said if we broke up, he'd want us to stay loyal to each other. I love him, but I think we're not right for each other relationship wise, and I hate saying that. I've talked to him about this before, and he said he'd work on himself, but he's still kind of the same. Even though I love him, I've been crushing on other guys. I usually crush on guys that are 3 to 7 years older than me, and I don't know why. I hate that I feel stuck. Can I have advice? Yes. I want you to pinch yourself first and snap out of this fog you in. You 18, you just turned 18, and you had this boyfriend for a year. I don't know. I just could not be dealing with nobody like that for that long. Okay, but let's move on. He wants to talk about getting married and having kids, and now you panic, and he never wants you to do things that you like, and he wants to be very controlling. He doesn't like you being around other males, even male relatives, even a male doctor. He does realize most doctors are males, right? Most of them. Okay. But you hate telling him that you're not right for sure. Why do you hate telling the truth? Why do you hate telling the truth? If you continue living a lie, you're lying to yourself, you're lying to him, and you're lying to the choices that you should be having in your life. You're limiting yourself by holding on to something that you know is not real. That's not true. It's lies. Okay? You're not right for him. That's the truth. He's too jealous. That's the truth. He's too insecure. That's the truth. You don't really have much in common with him. That's the truth. I mean, you're 18 years old. You're not thinking about getting married. That's the truth. Is that so? You hate to tell him all these things when those things are the truth. Okay, you should never be afraid of the truth. It is what it is. It doesn't change based on people's feelings about it. It just is. Come rain or shine, it is what it is. So you're gonna have to tell him. You can, should do it by text. That's how everybody else breaks up. And you don't leave out all this part about crushing on other guys and this and that. All you're gonna stick to is your relationship with him, and say that it's been a great year, but you think that you've outgrown each other, and that you want to go in a different direction, and you're not trying to get married and all these things that he was talking about. And so you want to do other stuff with yourself at only 18 years of age, and you don't want to be in a committed relationship. And that's what I suggest for you. Don't be getting yourself all this baby mindset and marriage and it's got to have a boyfriend stuff. Just stay single. Yeah, this is definitely breakup time. Question number 10. This is a female in the 30 to 39 age group from New York City. My ex and I broke up 2 days ago. He sent me a few follow up messages saying he would want to step back and revisit things in the future, but I didn't respond so I could take some time and collect my thoughts. I'm fine with it, and I think it would actually be a really good thing to take some space, meet each other, gain new perspectives, focus on ourselves, etc. But the one thing I wouldn't be okay with is if he was intimate with someone else. Do I tell him and establish that boundary so there's no confusion? Or does that make it seem like I'm trying to control / give him an ultimatum? I know it would be normal to do since being single gives anyone that freedom, but it's just something I personally would not be willing to overcome or move forward with. Any thoughts here or ways to say it so that it doesn't come across as an ultimatum? My thing is, he kind of has the comfort of knowing that I won't be with someone. He was the first person I slept with after my last relationship, which had been more than 2 years. I'm very successful, and I'm a young, good-looking woman in finance, so I have a lot of options. But the real me is very reserved, and I take who I'm dating seriously. He knows I've never had a one night stand and that I don't sleep with people unless I truly care about them. So I'm sure in his mind, he's like, woohoo, this is perfect. I wouldn't change this for him or anyone else, but it also puts me in a weaker position to some extent. Well, since you know that and that's the position that you've decided to take because that's the position you refer, don't lament your decision. See, what you're doing is having that you want to stand strong in your stance and then talk about, oh, it puts me in a weaker position. No, it doesn't. Okay, it puts you in a position that's strength because the decision that you made about yourself and your life. So how do you figure that makes you weaker? If anything, it makes you able to stand up to a lot of BS, which is about to come. I hope you know this, because they, this thing about breaking up and revisit things in the future. You were supposed to tell him, no, we will not be revisiting anything. I don't go backwards like a shark. I swim forward, and that's the only direction I go. It's been nice knowing you, chump. Bye bye, and that's it. You weren't supposed to let him put you on a string like that. Of course, you don't really have to answer the phone, but you just block him and stuff because you need to understand, revisit and he would want to revisit in the future. Doesn't mean that he will. And even if he revisits them, it doesn't mean that you two are getting back together. See, he did the let you down easy routine, but you didn't get it. So you still thinking that you have some influence here, that that's somehow still your man. Whatever, however you met him, dating app or whatever, you need to do it again and get back out there because this is over. Once he broke up, the only reason he was saying that is so that he knowing that you're not gonna be dealing with no other dudes. He knows it's gonna be a while before you meet somebody. So yeah, he can go over there do what he want to do, and then call you up, sing that sad song, and dance about let's revisit. And then he comes over, he taps that ass, and then he goes on about his business. Well, yeah, I revisit, but I don't really want it. Then what you gonna do? So you need to understand what time it is. That relationship is over. So whatever you was gonna do about looking for somebody else, you need to get started. Question 11, female 22 to 29 from Dayton, Ohio. Here's a basic summary of my relationship that lasted 2 years. I graduated college in May 2019. In March of that year, I met a dude. I really liked him, and I was so over something. I was, so over F boys that I was happy to find a kind of nerdy guy who was just so sweet and nice to me. I moved across the country for a job as soon as I graduated, but we decided to stay together, and he visited me several times. Whenever he would visit, everything was perfect, wonderful, like an amazing vacation every time. Here we go. Then COVID happened, and I opted to move back to where I'm originally from since I could work from home. This also meant I could see my boyfriend more often. But this is when the cracks started to show. I need one of those sound files so I could play that ominous music like they have in horror movies where you know the monster's coming and everybody's just standing there with looking scared, but you can hear the footsteps and see it. That's the sounds of music I need right about now. I realized he was pretty lazy, didn't take the best care of himself, and played video games way too often, like 40 hours a week. He also made a few pretty, hmm, I wonder what that means, light comments to me over the summer, but I guess that's not a good thing. We've since recovered and things have gotten better. We get along pretty well. However, I don't feel 100% secure. It's been 2 years. I still haven't told my parents about him. I always just lie and tell them I'm visiting a friend. That's very telling. I'm now moving back to where my job is in another part of the state. And in September, I'm starting graduate school on the West Coast. He does not intend to move with me, and I don't really want him to. I don't really know what to do. We're not on a bad terms, so breaking up seems weird, but going back to long distance doesn't seem like a great idea either. I do feel like he and I are pretty compatible in terms of our sense of humor, but we don't share a lot of interests aside from things to laugh and joke about. I know he'll never break up with me because he just feels lucky to have me, and I don't have the balls to do it. His parents know and like me and have congratulated me when I got into grad school. What would you do if you were me? I kind of like the idea of starting over, but I also don't know if I'll ever be as comfortable and silly with another guy as I am with him. We're both kind of weird and silly, and a lot of times I hide my true personality around other people. And stop worrying about some shit that don't make no damn sense. There's people of every personality everywhere on this planet. So you thinking that this one little monkey in Dayton, Ohio is the only person that's a goofy nerd? Do you know how many goofy nerd engineer types we have here in the Bay Area? It's like teaming with them. They're like flies. Okay, you be batting them off. They be all over the dating apps too. Weird as fuck. Can't get a date, but it sounds like you're down your alley. So you would have plenty of opportunities to find your little matching bookend over there. Um, the fact that you've been with this dude 2 years and still haven't told your parents about him, you lying to your parents. I don't know. Are you embarrassed about the dude? Whatever it is, you had no intention of this being anything serious or long term. That's what that means, and you went into it with that mindset. That's why your parents don't know nothing about him. Okay, now you move into out here and you want to keep a long distance relationship going with a guy that you don't have anything in common with, that all you do is laugh with. I mean, he's a friend. He's not like a man. I'm not hearing anything here that sounds like there's passionate love interest where you just got to have him and all this kind of stuff. This is a buddy that you talking about, and you can do that long distance. This is not the show where you ask advice questions. So, bricks, you got to follow the instructions, send in your question, look in the show description below and send in your advice question. These are all questions that were sent in before. We do not do questions in the chat. So you got the wrong idea. Send your question in. Lady Boss, if you could put the link up, then it'll be easy. No, Lee, just, just the advice questions don't get answered in the chat. Only the questions that we're talking about because these people need help too. Let's move on. Question 12, female 30 to 39 from Newcastle, Australia. I'm up at this silly hour as I've just found out the man I have been sleeping with, albeit casually, for the last 2 years, maybe more, has a girlfriend, and he's had her the entire time and since before we met. I am utterly shocked. I have worked with this man for years. We have mutual friends who knew about us, and nobody knew he was in a relationship. He pursued me relentlessly. It didn't start out casual. There were dates with him offering to take me away, etc. But all of that stopped when I developed feelings and told him. However, stupidly, I kept on sleeping with him, and it's been going on since 2019. He told me tonight that he can't carry on, but he is happy to still be friends. I mean, WTF. I don't know who she is or the exact dates as I didn't want to hear another word from him. He's blocked everywhere. Although we work at the same company, it's big and I will have no contact with him. I've known him for nearly 8 years. I'm completely and utterly shocked. I am fiery at the best of times. I have no problem speaking my mind, but I just didn't know what to say. I've had several health checkups over the years while sleeping with him anyway, and recently, but I am worrying a little bit now. I just cannot believe I have known or thought I knew him for so long and had no idea about this. I know we were casual, so I expected he was probably seeing others, but a girlfriend? I'm pretty feeling pretty shitty and just worthless, I guess. As he made out to me, he didn't want a relationship, etc., etc. Explains why now. It doesn't matter why, because he just, as long as he said he didn't want one, that means he didn't want one with you. Okay, that's the part that you women just don't get. When a man says he doesn't want a relationship, he's not meaning it in general or forever. He means with you. Okay, understand what time? I just don't understand why you guys don't get that. You just assume, oh well, it's not me personally. Yes, it is you. Okay, it's you. He doesn't want a relationship with you. Does that mean that you're a bad person? Not at all. It means that he doesn't want a relationship with you. Okay, what is he? He's one of like 60 billion men. Okay, so would you get upset about that? You just move on to find somebody who wants to be in a relationship with you. That's very simple. It's not hard. Okay? So what you do is in a situation like this, you have to understand two things. One is, you develop feelings, but you kept sleeping with him anyway, even after he told you, you know, that was crossing the boundary. That's when you were supposed to cut it off, but you didn't. And the other thing I want you to understand this, you're feeling all in your feelings because he had a quote girlfriend. Let me explain something. She ain't no kind of girlfriend. He's sleeping with all kind of other women that do whatever he wants to do. So there's no reason to be like all aghast and in all his angst about his quote girlfriend because his attitude about his girlfriend is so disrespectful, so nasty, so disgusting. You should be happy to be rid of this fool. He's trash. This is the way he treats somebody he has a commitment with. I mean, she was getting the same lies and games that you was getting. So, well, I mean, her status is no more better than yours. Okay, Both of you are just tools for a narcissist. Let's move on to question 13. Female 22 to 29 from Greeley, Colorado. My husband and I co parent with his ex wife. I find myself constantly comparing myself to her. My first marriage was horrible and ruined my self esteem, so I know this is partially the reason. My current husband told me that from the get go that he will always love his ex because she's the mother of his children. I feel like that's just another reason for my self esteem issues, as I have absolutely no love for my ex husband, even though we have a child together. So do I get it together and move past this or move on? You're gonna get it together because you okay, the fact that you compare yourself to her, guess whose fault that is? Look in the mirror. There's a guilty party. Nobody's doing anything to you. You doing it to yourself. You putting all this bullshit in your head. Okay? And the fact that the man has love for his ex-wife, that's the mother of his children, he's supposed to love and respect her. Does that mean he's in love with her? No. It means that he doesn't want anything bad to happen to her. He wants her to be healthy and happy so that his kids have a healthy and happy mother. A healthy and happy mother is more likely to be loving his kids well and take really good care of them rather than sink down into depression, leave the house toe up, just not cook and clean and keep the kids dirty and unfed and stuff like that. So he would do what he could to make sure that that happens because that's what's best for his kids. Now you take, the word love and you just want to put a man in a choke chain. You should be happy to have a man that shows that kind of respect. Okay, because he can love his mama, he can love his sisters, he can love other females. Why would he not? Someone he used to be madly in love with. Why would he still? What is he supposed to hate her in order to make you feel good? He can't have any kind of loving respect for the woman. He's got to hate her guts and be fighting and all this stuff, cause a bunch of drama over the kids. That make you happy? I much prefer his way. Yeah, her. You need some therapy because you're gonna ruin your situation with this. You need some help. It's I can't, it's not the format for that, but you need to get see a counselor and start working on your self-esteem and healing from all that abuse that you endured from that, your ex-husband, and realize that guy is not this guy. Okay, look at their faces. Make sure that you're not going running them tracks in your head, them old tapes of what happened to you before, and you putting this guy's face in the play. That's not fair to him. He didn't do those things to you. Okay? He did not. So stop this before you mess something up and you have two ex-husbands. Question 14, female 22 to 29 from Wolverhampton, UK. My boyfriend and I have been together for 7 years with a couple of split ups. I know when I go through, but in my own head, I'm answering my own questions, but then he makes me feel like I'm going mad when I voice them and even tells me so. Hmm. This might sound pathetic, but I need more from him. More romance, more attention in bed, more interest in my life. I feel as though I pay a lot of attention to all of his hobbies, interests, in day to day life, and I feel like I don't get it in return. We live together, and I do most of the cooking. Before Valentine's, he asked me what I wanted. I said nothing, but one thing I would really love is if you would cook something for me. He doesn't love being in the kitchen like me, but he can cook when he tries. He just couldn't do it. And the next day, he said he felt ill. Okay, then blah, blah, blah. Later in the week, I got home from work a little late for lunch, and he had arrived early and had cooked just for himself. Wow, I break my balls. Girl, you don't have no balls. Near every day to make sure there's a hot lunch on the table for him when he gets back from work. So after Valentine's, this upset me even further. I just feel like he doesn't care about my wants and needs. And when I voice him, he calls me complicated, dramatic, needy, and tonight that I'm effed in the head. I'm about to embark on a huge project investing in land and creating a retreat, and he has refused to be involved, saying he doesn't have time. It feels like everything I do, whether it be family matters, movies, music, TV shows, books, he just shows zero interest. Again, when I do bring things up, he stonewalls me for a couple of days. First, I start by talking and getting upset that he doesn't understand, and then he gets angry. Okay, so I'm all that, and I'm trying to hear where's the good part. Okay, this is 7 years that you've been dealing with this nut job, doing just being like Cinderella. He's definitely not the prince. So I don't know what you're doing. He tells you that you're going mad. You need more romance. You need more attention. You need more interest in your life. That basically means you need more of a partner. You're looking for somebody who's like a friend who cares about you and what you do and what's going on in your life. You do the cooking. He doesn't give you anything. He won't even cook for you. You do the cleaning. He cooks just for himself, so he's thoughtless and inconsiderate. I'm sitting here reading this and I'm wondering where's the good part? Where's the part that would make you want to stay in this for 7 years? He wouldn't have got 7 weeks out of me not acting like this. So you have to think, what you want to do here. I mean, it sounds like you have some great ambitions and you're going to be doing it by yourself anyway. So please move out from him, get your own place or move in with a friend or something, and then work on your stuff and do what you need to do without him. Okay, because this is the kind of dude you're gonna be doing it, spending your money and time, and then suddenly he's gonna have his hands stuck out talking about, well, what we did. You need to break up with him now before you do all of this. Yeah, I'm trying to. I mean, this is the kind of relationship I tell you they get to doing this kind of stuff. Like this thing, if I came home, like came for lunch and I cooked for him a couple of times, and then I come for lunch and he had only cooked for himself, and he knew I was coming, he would be over on the spot. You know how I do. Oh, I'm like, no, we're not doing that. I'm not gonna be treated that way. And once you let it go that one time, it's over. Cause then they know that you'll take it, ladies. You have to have that zero tolerance for BS kind of boundary. Let's move on to fifth question 15. Female, 30 to 39 from Oceanside, California. I've been married for 11 years, and in the past 6 weeks or so, I've been coming to the slow realization that my husband might be emotionally abusing me. Oh, Leandra, girl, it happens. Or at the very least, gaslighting and manipulating me. But everything I've been reading about emotionally abusive people talks about how their actions are very deliberate. They want you to not trust yourself, they want to have control over you. But that's not my situation. I generally don't think my husband understands what he's doing. Yes, he does. See, they depend on you to think that they're not because otherwise you would call them on it. You would know the game. They depend on you to say just what you're saying and refuse to acknowledge the reality that's staring you in the face. Okay, let's move on. Now that I've been pointing it out to him when he does it, our conversations and interactions, he is genuinely confused with his Academy Award winning ass and then explains why what he's saying or doing makes perfect logical sense, regardless of how it makes me feel. I could go on and on with examples from the last 11 years with examples that are just now registering in my mind as not normal. He has made me doubt my reality, devalued me and what I think, and twisted reality so that it fits what makes sense to him. But he's never verbally abusive, angry, violent, or openly controlling. Huh. For example, he would never come out and say, you shouldn't have a relationship with your family. But he would say, why do you need to be close to your family? It makes me feel bad. I don't need anyone in my life besides you. Why do you need other people? And me being naive and empathetic would comply because I thought he was right and I was wrong. Hmm. Okay, then here comes the gross part. He would never force me to do anything sexually, but when I expressed that it made me uncomfortable, that he would repeatedly just grope me while I was doing dishes or sitting on the couch without even asking. He would get his feelings hurt to make me feel like it was a normal part of the relationship and I just needed to get over it. My question is this still considered emotional abuse or is it just a bad combination of him having strong opinions and me being naive, not knowing my boundaries or what's appropriate? Hmm. So she's trying to understand. Well, everything that you're saying here, your husband is a narcissist. That means you're being emotionally abused, and they're very good at it. All over this channel, there's videos about narcissists and how to recognize them, the games they play and how they play them. You're getting played. All of them are being run on you, and he's evidently so good at it that he can have you thinking that he doesn't know what he's doing, which I just find astonishing. I'm just, dude is good. I got to give him his props, even though it's sick props, because he's all the way up in your head. So what you have to do is realize that um, if you look at some of the videos here about narcissists, and what's different about most of them, they'll give you the science, they tell you stuff. What I did was take real life examples that will show you, so you could hear the language and the run you through the behaviors of a narcissist. So the videos go a level deeper than a lot of them will. So it just shows you, you know, from the time they wake up in the morning, the games they start running. Oh, hey, Leandra. Yes, girl. And cut up, it would be terrible. Terrible. So, this is really a bad situation. I don't know that you're ready to leave it yet, but I would hate to see you stay and allow this man to continue this slow and steady breakdown of your confidence and your mind and your independence. So you have some thinking to do. But yeah, check out some of those videos. I'll try to remember to link to some of them up here. Question 16, male, 22 to 29 from Newark, New Jersey. I've been dating someone for almost 10 months after coming out of my marriage. I am, quote, needy, and my girlfriend has addressed it a few times and that she just can't deal with it. So, about 6 weeks ago, I started taking steps to correct this, and she acknowledged the improvement. However, Saturday night, she said she doesn't think we can continue. I was very upset, but handled it well, and I was on my way. After an hour or so, I called and asked if I can drop off her blanket and grab my spare key. She said fine. When I went over, we had a very deep discussion, and it involved her mentioning a quote break. I even made the Ross and Rachel joke. I was an emotional wreck, but not with her. But for some reason, the entire conversation is a bit of a blur, as I was not expecting this breakup. The conversation ended with a big hug and her telling me she has a lot to think about and she'll call me the next 3 or 4 days. Then she came up, put her hands on my cheek, and gave me a big kiss on the lips. So I left there thinking we're broken up, and I was very emotional Saturday, crying, no sleep, and Sunday crying, no appetite. But today, I started to feel a little better after a short morning cry. I then wrote her a letter discussing that I'm working on things and that other than the neediness, we are very good together. And on that note, I wrote, we spoke Saturday evening. You mentioned that it could be better if we could take a break and figure things out, but that wasn't fair to me. What if today I agreed with that? It is my intention to give her a chance to call, but she gets her kids back. Okay, blah, blah, blah. The problem is this: I'm not 100% sure if we're currently on a break. I'm not even sure how to find that out without actually giving her this note, suggesting we try to resolve our issues by taking a break so I can deal with my neediest. Not sure what to do. The woman done already told you broken up, dude. She's just trying using different language because you just don't want to hear it or something. I don't know. You don't have a girlfriend anymore. Let me make it very clear to you. Okay, those days are over. You don't have a girlfriend no more. You're single now. Okay, so you leave her alone. You started on your little healing journey. Just keep going. Okay, because you don't have a girlfriend no more. You're single now. Start finding yourself a new girlfriend. All right. You still need to deal with that neediness though, because what you don't want to do is get in a relationship with somebody else and have the same thing happen again. Because nobody likes to being choked like that. People want to be able to fart without you being there to breathe it. So that you just too close. That's too much. Question number 17, female, 22 to 29 from Seattle. Can white guys be dusty too? I need to ask that question because we are not black, but I think this guy qualifies as a dusty. I started dating him. I just and is constantly commenting on my appearance. Sometimes it's not very obvious. It's kind of subtle. I don't consider myself to be super insecure, but those comments really get to me, and I start wondering if he finds me attractive at all. Oh, I wonder what he says. I told him about it. He brushed everything away. He brushed everything away, claiming that he didn't mean anything in a bad way and that he just wanted me to be, quote, even more beautiful. The worst was last night when we were having some sexy time, she says. I haven't fully shaved because I wanted my skin to rest. He looked down and said, "What the F?" really loudly, but in a playful way. He didn't comment after, but I knew that he reacted that way because he didn't like what he saw. I was clean, just not fully shaved. Now that I'm typing this, I realize that this is not normal, but I'd like to hear your analysis anyway. He's an idiot. Get rid of him. I don't, the patience that you get. Look at my shirt that I wore today. I have to show you my shirt. Wait, patience. See that? See what that is? I'm on empty. And yet I come onto the show and these little girls have all the patience in the world and I just do not have none. 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 I couldn't. I could not do this. As soon as he says something, he's commenting on your appearance. Then, my thing is if I don't like him doing that, but even if you do like, even if it's positive, you get sick of hearing it, all the time. So if he did that, he said something about my appearance that I didn't like, then I would fire on him. He want to talk about something on me, I'm gonna talk about something on you. Is that what we doing? Cause let's go. Let's get gully with it. We gonna go all the way. So, and then at the end of that, we most likely is gonna be broken up because I don't have breaks. Once a guy, I'm just go, 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 go until it's like over. And so that's what we would do because I would feel like the fact that you felt like you had the right to say something nasty and negative to me, critical or anything when I did not ask you for your fucking opinion, guess what? We're through. Okay? You don't have the permission to criticize me about shit. Okay? Because everything here, I'm the only one who gets to criticize what's going on with me, not you. You don't get, y'all haven't given you that right, that permission, that kind of access to me, that kind of option, choice, none of that. None of that is there for you. So this, he would have got fired just right off the bat. And then, making these comments like that about, you not looking like some little kid about the nether regions. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of that look, but that's what some women want to do, whatever. I think it's the fact that so many men are into it. That came from the popcorn industry. Nobody did that before the popcorn industry came, and now everybody want to look like a popcorn star, and they don't realize the dangers there, especially if they have young daughters at their house. You don't want to do that. I've said this before, but I will say it again. A lot of women just don't be thinking what you got a grown ass man who wants to look at that shit like that for. That's not right. That's not how adult women's bodies look. But y'all don't be thinking about that. And you got your little 7 and 10-year-old daughters running around with a man who likes that look in the same house. I be trying to tell you, you got to connect these dots. But yeah, this is a no. You said it's not normal and you understand that. So what that means, you need to get rid of dude. You need to get rid of dude. Let's move on to question number 18. Female 40 to 49 out of Leeds, England. I'm 42 and I've been seeing a man who's a few years older for a couple of months. We click naturally and I feel at ease. However, I'm finding myself deeply disturbed by something and I need your outside opinion. He has called me by the wrong name, not once or twice, but more than 3 times now. I feel like it shows he just doesn't care that I'm not all that important if he can't get something as simple as my name right. Wow, he's not calling me by an ex's name or anything like that. It's more along the lines of my name is Jessica and keeps calling me Jennifer. Neither are my actual name, just so you know. We talked this over the first time it happened, so it's very clear that while it made me uncomfortable, my name is not common, so I understood. But we certainly didn't need to keep visiting this for moving forward. Getting someone's name right seems basic if you give a F even a little. Am I overreacting, or is this something that would not sit well with you to the point where you did things? Oh, you know me, my patience is. I mean, this is my shirt. I probably need to have this tattooed on me because this is really how I am. My dad used to make jokes about it when I was a little kid, and he was like, "Kid," that's what he used to call me, "Kid." When they was at the pearly gates and giving out what you call it, patience, you didn't wait in line to get yours. so I was so he's like, I came to earth, like I was a little angel, and I came to earth with no patience because I didn't want to wait in the line to get it. So I'm like, wow, that's pretty accurate, but What can I say? My daddy knew me better than anybody on this planet. It was terrible because I was just like him. That's why. So you, yeah, girl, I don't know. No, you're not overreacting. You're not over, but you know, I'm gonna tell you a secret. How a lot of dudes, when thanks, precious, when they first, you know, the dude not real. He can't keep everybody's name straight, so he don't call nobody by their name. All the women gets is honey, baby, babe, darling, honey, sugar, sweetie, doll face, cutie, baby, you know, whatever. All these little nicknames they have, big booty. I mean, whatever name. But none of the women that he's dealing with get called by their name because that way he can't make a mistake. That's a player move. So your dude is not a player. He just stupid. Okay, so let him just go on over there somewhere with his Alzheimer ass. Question number 19. Female, 30 to 39, Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, here we go. A few months ago, I had a short, friendly conversation with a coworker about houseplants. This dude is 50 years old. I'm 30. About a week later, he added me on LinkedIn and started messaging me on there. Nothing weird, just, chatty. He then started messaging me on Teams and asked me to help him with something. It was one time it took me about a minute to complete the task. Our departments are completely unrelated, so I'm surprised he found something to ask me to do. Hmm. Ever since, he's been routinely leaving me chocolates on my desk, and today he left me a note with some artwork he made as a token of appreciation and friendliness. He keeps messaging me on Teams and tried to strike up conversation in person on my lunch break about non-work related subjects. I've been trying to keep my replies short, but he's not getting a hint that I'm not interested. I wouldn't say he's doing anything inappropriate, but he's making me uncomfortable. I'm straight up not interested in a friendship with him, and I don't know how to let him know that. I want to be professional about it, but I also want him to leave me alone. What should I say? How do I handle this? He's leaving the chocolates on your desk and then artwork or stuff. Okay, well, so what are you doing when he leaves you these gifts that you don't, from a man that you don't want a friendship with? The appropriate response would be not to eat them. The appropriate response would be to go and put them back on his desk, or if you guys have inter-office mail, to stick them in the envelope, because that's even more savage. Seal them in the envelope and put them in the outbox so it circles by that little courier person who delivers the inter-office mail, and it'll appear back on his desk without so much as a thank you. What does that say to him? I don't want this bullshit from you. Keep this shit at your desk. That's what that's saying. Now, if you ate it though, you thanked him, you went through all this, rigmarole that you wasn't supposed to do. Well, then now you started setting a precedent. All likewise, when he asks you to do something for him, you're supposed to tell him, oh, well, all my assignments are run through my supervisor. If my supervisor says it's okay, then I'll do it. That's how you dip out of that. He ain't gonna call your supervisor up some monkey shines bullshit, because your supervisor will be, what are you talking about? We'll get somebody on your floor to do it in your department. Click, right? And so then you could have saved yourself from that. I'm trying to give you young girls some game about how to handle yourself when you go into corporate America. You all go in there like all brand new. You can't be You can't be this naive when you dealing with people in corporate America, because they're either snakes or dogs or bitches. It's one of them three. Very rarely are you gonna meet somebody who is cool, because even the ones that just cool at first usually turn out not to be so cool. They say some crazy shit or do something, to sabotage you in the end, because they ultimately get jealous. So just be careful with that. But yeah, this is, when you are dealing with men, especially in your workplace, but even in privately, your messages and your behavior must be consistent. So you're saying I don't want a friendship with him, but that's not what your behavior is saying. You talking to him, you laughing with him, you thanking him, you taking accepting his candies and gifts and stuff. So your head, you telling me that that's what you want, but he's not seeing any evidence of that by the way that you're acting. See, so you need to get your what you just told me and your behavior towards this man in sync, so that you're delivering one very clear message. Okay, and at 30 you should know how to do this, because if you haven't can't do it at work, that means you're not doing it with the men that you dealing with in your private time either. Okay, because this is a habit, this is a behavior. Either you do it or you don't. And the fact that you're not doing it at work where it should be easy to do it, you just going deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole. So you better stop that. This is pretty face. Why do people keep coming up in here with all these questions? This is not the night for questions. We do the show from pre-submitted questions. If you have a question that you want to submit to the column, please use the link that you can find in the show description below. Okay, show description below. Submit your question in advance. This is not a live relationship shows. When we do those, it costs you $5. Okay, so we don't do those. We had one a couple of weeks ago. We'll have another one coming up. Question 20, female, 22 to 29 from Brooklyn, New York. I know I shouldn't have, but I checked my partner's phone this morning and found that he had yet again taken a semi-hard pic, which he didn't send to me. This isn't the first time he has done this. What? I questioned him the last time, and he said he was going to send it to me, but felt as things weren't great between us that he shouldn't do it. I'm going through a tough time emotionally and mentally. This recent photo was taken a week ago and taken in our bathroom when he got home from work. I know this because I checked the date and time. Why do men take these kind of pics if they aren't sending it to someone? Not sent to me, so he has sent it to someone else. If for his own purposes, why? Does he not get to look at his own stuff on a daily basis several times a day? I don't know what to do. Do I ask him why he's doing it? Do I leave it and not mention it? Do I let it boil up inside me and gradually let it ruin our relationship that's already at the breaking point? If I mention it, I would get shouted at for going in his phone. I know I shouldn't have, but he can be quite secretive with his phone, taking it to the toilet when he bathes, detecting deleting rather previous messages to male friends and previously female friends. Hmm. What has he talked about with these friends that he doesn't want me to see? I don't hide my phone or hide what I'm doing or delete messages. He can look at my phone anytime he likes. This is making me feel ill and not helping my current depression. Get away from this freaky fool. Um, I don't, I really, he's so young. I hate to just burst your bubble. But, you got a dude who's doing all this kind of stuff and he's deleting messages from men and he's taking these kind of pictures. That's like that gay bi stuff. That's what they do. There would be no other reason for him to delete messages from a male. You know, this is gross. I just hope that he's, only at the picture stage and not at the actually doing something stage, tipping around, because that could be putting you at great, great, great risk for all kinds of different health issues. You might want to go and get yourself checked out, make sure that everything is as it should be, and then you might want to start making moves away from this guy with the quickness. See, for me, if I saw, but I just, my trigger's so short. Wait, no patience, right? I don't have the patience for it. I see that you done some freak shit like that, being born and raised in San Francisco. Okay, I'm gonna look at that and I'm gonna know what that means, and I'm gonna be boop, and I'm heading right to the gyno, cause I don't know what you've been doing. Where your mouth been? You know what I mean? This is some interesting situation, but I would be done. I would be out. Men don't really. So, on the fact that he sent it to men and women, that's even more interesting. Or it's men with a woman's name. You know what I'm talking about? He was Julio last week, but this week he's Julia. Or, Roberto turned to Roberta. James turned to Jane. That kind of stuff. That's what they be doing. And so they be, when all they female stuff, and then the dude's gonna save it on his phone under the girl's name. I wouldn't trust this dude. You see, my imagination's going wild. I'd have to be dipped out. Question 21, female, 22 to 29 from the UK. I am 29 and was recently told by my doctor that due to a pre existing condition, I'm not ovulating. And if I want to conceive, I will need to be referred to a fertility clinic. I understand that in the UK, you need to be trying for a baby for 12 months before a GP will approve the referral, but the doctor said that she would push for one now if I want it. I desperately want this referral because being a mother means everything to me. I explained to my partner the situation, but he doesn't want to go ahead with the referral just yet, but wants to wait until he finishes writing his book, become published, and hopefully be more financially stable. He keeps telling me that he wants children with me, but because of his writing, he cannot give me a time frame of when he will be ready. He has said there is no changing his mind on this matter. I'm afraid that if I refuse this referral and wait for him, my opportunity will be missed and I will never have a child. Fertility journeys can take years, and being 29 and having to confirm that I'm not ovulating already, I just feel in my gut that now is the time to accept this opportunity and start this journey. Am I being unreasonable in wanting him to compromise and agree on this referral? Or am I expected to sit back and wait as my dreams go further away? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. You know what? You get your baby. You get your baby. See, this is the thing that's really nice about the way that things are now. You don't have to be married. You don't have to be dealing with no knucklehead man and his issues, his needs, his wants, his mama, nothing. You don't have to deal with any of that. All you have to do is go get you this referral, and then when you go and get it, because just because you get the referral doesn't mean that you'll be able to get an appointment right away. It doesn't mean that you'll there's going to be more time here. So by the time this happens, you could very well be 30, 31 even. I don't know how long it takes in the UK, but if there's something where they're helping you do it, I'm sure there's a lot of couples that's already in line, before you. So I would get the referral now and then get on the list or get in the queue, or, start the process, whatever it's going to take. Now, the thing about him not wanting it, you can't force him to be a dad. I would not recommend that. What I would tell him is this is something that you want for yourself, that you're going to use a donor and that you're going to have a child. He does not have to be a part of it, and tell him, at any time you can walk out that door and it'll be nice knowing you. But this is something that I want to do for myself. It's a dream that I have that's going to make me happy. You're not a part of the dream. The dream contained me and my baby. And so, you would be an optional nice thing to have, but you're not really needed because I'm going to get it by hook or crook. So you just go flip through the book and you look at the pictures and find the genetic profile or whatever you want. I'll take that one, and you get your IVF and you go on with your with your life. That's what I would do if I really wanted a kid that bad. I would not let some man writing a book that could. I know a man who's been writing a book for 12 years. I finished 5 books in 5 years. He's been working on one book for 12 years, and he still ain't finished. So if she get in a situation like that, she could be in her 40s waiting around for him and then when you get the book finished, you still got to shop to get a publisher. So, and there's no guarantee that that happens. So no, you could be 50 years old still waiting for this man to do whatever he is he's trying to do. You better do what you want to do and forget him. Question 22, female, 18 to 21, from Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm 20 and my boyfriend is 25 and we live together. We get in little arguments every now and then, and somehow it's always my fault. Last night I got ready for bed, which takes me about 5 to 10 minutes. He was waiting on me. Earlier, he asked if I would rub his legs and feet because they hurt from him standing for his 12-hour shift at work, and I said maybe. I usually do it every time he asks. But as soon as I lay down, he reminds me about giving him a leg rub. But then I asked him if he quickly washed his feet because they smell bad, and I wanted him to wash them before I touched them. He didn't want to, so I told him no. Then he threw a fit. After that, he asked if I could get him water, and I told him that I didn't feel like it because I was already in the bed, and my back has been hurting pretty bad. He knows this, and getting up a bunch of different times is painful. We got into a fight because I said no to both things, and he goes to sleep on the couch. So I go to ask if we can talk about it like adults, but when I did, and every other time I try to resolve things like this, he shut down and refused to talk to me. Now I don't know what to do because every time he just blows up and tells me it's my fault that we get into fights, and I always start every argument, no matter how big or little the subject. He never takes responsibility for anything. I don't know what to do. I love him, but I'm tired of this. So what you gonna do? You're only 20 years old and you dealing with this bullshit all the and you live together. Why do you live with somebody who's stupid? Move out. This makes no sense. I mean, your back is hurting and he gonna get mad at you for not giving him a massage. You know, you said maybe, but you should have said it was no then. My back hurts. I can't do it. My back hurts. Okay, and then he would have just got his mad on to rubbed his own legs or something. And then he wants a massage, and then he don't even have enough decency to wash his funky feet. So you're gonna be over there passed out with a hurt back, trying to relieve the pressure on his legs, and he's so rude about it that he couldn't even see that maybe if he had meat that smelled like flowers and perfume, you might be more motivated. Thanks, Brina. Haven't seen you for a while. This dude is just ungrateful and rude and just petty and silly and extremely immature and selfish and a narcissistic and a whole bunch of other stuff that's negative. So I don't know what you are doing there. You know, you got all these fights and arguments and he's stupid. That's not a good, that don't bode well for a long term relationship, and definitely make sure your birth control game stays tight. Don't be getting pregnant. Question 23, male 18 to 21 from London. So I've been dating this girl for about 2 months. And we were just laying in bed together. And she said she wanted to show me her friends. So I said it was fine. She showed me this one best friend of hers. And out of nowhere, she goes, ha ha, I effed her boyfriend and she still doesn't know. Wow. Which instantly brought down my mood that night. And I still feel down because of it. Another time she was talking about a friend of hers and she told me how she used to eggplant with him whilst he cheated on his last two girlfriends. I had never had a serious relationship like this before, and I don't know if this is normal stuff people do and talk about while they're in bed together. I feel very conflicted because she's always telling me that she loves me and is very affectionate. It has put me in a very, very depressed mood ever since what I had worked so hard to grow out of. Please help me. Okay, cue up Luda. Okay, dude, this girl, you got to get rid of her. Um, Somebody who's gonna sit there with her man and tell him how she slept with her best friend's dude and is gleeful about it because the friend doesn't know and still considers her a friend, and she's gleefully telling you this story. That's why you started feeling down. You are not really connecting what's going on. As you know, young males tend to not be able to do that well. But what you're feeling is regret, supreme disappointment. Your heart is hurting because you had feelings for this girl that you now realize is a trash person. You're wrestling with trying to, accept the fact that this is the person that you have this girl that you've been dating for 2 months. So I feel like, you got some kind of attachment to her to keep dating her that long. But this should be the end of it. Okay. This should be the end. You cannot trust somebody like this. Like, say your sister had a boyfriend and then she started getting at your sister's boyfriend and the boyfriend is trash and sleeps with it. So now your sister's heart's broken and they're going to blame you because you knew that this was the character of this individual, yet you brought her around into your household and around your people. And they're thinking since she's with you, that she's someone that they can trust. You see how this could work, backfire against you and mess you up in your whole family? This girl, you need to get rid of her. She's nobody's friend. She's just, I don't even know who would do, I mean, even if somebody did do something like that, you wouldn't go around bragging about it and laughing about it and telling your boyfriend that you did some trifling, tawdry thing like that to your quote best friend. She's a terrible young person, you know, and she doing whole activities and whole tendencies. Ugh, this is terrible. Yeah, she's very, something's wrong with her. This is not normal behavior. Something is very, very wrong. Oh, and she loves you, and she don't let no, she don't love you. You better get away from her. Question number 24. I think is this our last question of the day? Right? Because sometimes we have 25. Oh, this is it. This is the last one. So while you're still here, please hit that subscription button if you have not already, and hit the like for this wonderful fam- non-family oriented show. Yeah, this is really sad. And this is his first relationship, and he he don't know. But that's what I'm trying to tell you, young man. This you got to look at the character of the person that you're with, and she's telling you that her character is all kinds of messed up. That's not somebody you can really trust with your heart. Okay, you want a girl who treats her friends with respect, and she's not doing that, and she thinks it's funny that she's doing dogging her friend out like that. I don't know what's wrong with this chick. She got some problems. She better stop before she run up on the wrong person and get herself shot. Question number 24, female, 30 to 39, from Norman, Oklahoma. My boyfriend and I have been on and off for long distance for 7 years. He's 39, I'm 33. He is my best friend in many ways, but I always had trouble committing to him because I just wasn't 100% sure. But after my job ended, I ended up moving to his hometown to get a relationship a full time chance. I'm a very ambitious, hardworking, side hustle kind of girl. Since living together, I have learned that my boyfriend is more of a dreamer, slacker, and unmotivated to better his life. Oh, this is not sounding good. And how old are you guys? He's 30. He'll say he's damn near 40, and you 33. Okay. I found a job within a month of living in the new city, and he is unemployed for 2 years, except for a 2 week stint at a restaurant where he got laid off for COVID. He's been happy to collect unemployment, is not looking for work or trying to gain any new skills. He does take care of the grocery shopping, laundry, etc., but spends most of the day sleeping, playing video games or his guitar, and uh, off. Whenever I bring the employment issue up, he tells me a variety of excuses. These letters. Winter isn't the right time to look for a job, or that he doesn't want to work until COVID is over, or why would I look for work when I'm getting free money? I'm afraid to leave since I just got here in October, but I don't know how much longer I can stand living with this dude. I'm afraid to lose the friendship, but I'm not sure that I can commit to him based on his lazy, entitled attitude. I never get alone time, and it's extremely frustrating to work so hard while he does nothing. Should we be splitting the rent, utilities, and groceries 50-50? We make about the same amount of money, but I work 40 hours a week when he just sits around. Would it be a mistake to leave this early? I've only lived here for 4 months, but I'm already planning my escape. I don't know anybody in this city except for him and his family. I like being single. I'm very selective about my relationship. Is it worth it to stick it out and cut him some pandemic slack, or should I get out of this situation? No, run, 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 Forrest, run, and keep moving. You're only 33 years old. You've been long distance for 7 years, but as soon as you, which I don't understand, but as soon as you move to where he is, you get to see all the negative side of him. A man who's a slacker and who's unmotivated. Would you be willing to carry him at the age of 33, at the age of 43, when he's like 50? Are you going to be willing to carry him and do all the work and do all the stuff while he became, just sits on his butt? Because that sounds like what he's trying to set up. Um, should we be splitting the rent, utilities, and groceries 50-50? I don't know. I'm not a believer in the 50-50 thing because I feel like if you come in there to live with him, he was already covering that, and he's supposed to cover it because he's the man. So I mean, you could buy some groceries or something like that. Maybe pay a cable bill or whatever, but he shouldn't be looking for you to split nothing 50-50 with him. That means just move out. Get you a roommate, or two women live together, share a house or something. And you get a yard and everything else, and you can split that 50-50, and you have some peace and space and quiet and everything else. I don't know. I think that you say is it a mistake to leave this early? I'm thinking the mistake would be spending more time in a situation because you've already recognized that it doesn't make any sense for you to be there. He's not the man that you thought he was. Either over that 7 years of time, him being long distance enabled him to keep a front up, because he didn't really see you that much. But now that you're there every day, you get to really interact with him, on the real, and you get to see the sides of him that he was able to hide from you when you with those intermittent visits and calls and Skypes or whatever. You're not really seeing who he is. But now that you do, you realize that he's not the person that you thought he was, and that he's lazy, and he doesn't, he's unmotivated to do better and be more. And for most women, they want to see progress. They want to see improvement and stuff, and bettering things. That's what we do. We want it beautiful, bigger, better. We want things to be better than they were. And when you have a man who says, "No, I don't want to be better. I'm cool just being a bum just like this," that's very disappointing, and that makes us want to flee. So. Yeah, but she's already there. She's been there, but she's only been there for 4 months, so it's not like she can't, easily dip out. And that's what I would say. So start looking for a place to move. Sometimes you could just rent. You don't really know anybody, so just you could rent a room in some, senior's house or something. You don't sound like you're a party type or whatever. But if you're gonna go on a date, just go on a little date or whatever, and do something like that until you decide what you want to do. Are you gonna move back to where you were? Save your money up and move back, or you're going to make a life there. Maybe you want to move to some other place, with a better opportunity for whatever your field of interest is. There's many options when you're only 33 years old. Don't tie yourself down to this knucklehead. If you did that 7 years of that, I would never have suggested that. You were too young to be involved with his ass. He's dusty. He dusty. Thanks, Lee. He dusty. So tomorrow we got Ben Winters coming on. Ben is going to be talking about the ugly truth about expectations. The ugly truth about expectations. Expectations get us in a whole bunch of trouble. So he and I had a very interesting conversation. This is a pre-recorded interview. We had a very interesting conversation about that. So I think you'll enjoy that one. So be here at 6 o'clock tomorrow if you want to see that. And then we got a couple of more really good shows coming up. How to Stop People Pleasing with Samantha Saunders, and then a show that's going to be really important for men, why women should never beg for love. Is for he talks about being the kind of man that a woman really wants, and then how you as a woman should never beg a man for anything. So he is hitting it on both sides. And then Dr. IVG on Saturday covers the 5 simple steps to mental toughness for women. And then on Sunday is our last show of February 2021, a panel discussion. If you have questions for the panel, we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff that night. If you got questions, please email them to survivingdating@gmail.com. Whatever topic you want the panel to cover, let us know your thoughts. We think it's like 2 or 3 hours or something. The show is booked. May not last as long, but it's definitely going to be at least 2 hours. So we have a lot of time to go in depth over some stuff. I really hope that you guys, send in some questions, because we want to talk about some of the things that you want us to talk about. There'll be 7 people, 6 other ladies and me. So I will see you all for the next live stream, which takes place on Thursday. Okay, and be sure to hit that like and that subscription button before you leave. Talk to you later. Bye bye.